Hello there everyone, Joanna Grant. I'm back again. Today I wanted to share with you a really fun collaborative project I have been working on with a couple of my arty friends. So I'm going to do is show you what we're doing together, and maybe it'll give you an idea and inspire you perhaps to share some work that you're kind of stuck on with another arty friend, and maybe you'll get a really neat result out of it. So let me show you what I've been up to. I have a number of pieces. I work on lots of different pieces at a time, and oftentimes I get them to a point and I like them, but then I kind of get stalled out. Now I don't fuss about that too much because I know I'll eventually get back to them and get something done with them. But I have a number of them sitting around, and I don't hesitate to start a new piece even if I haven't finished the current ones I'm working on. So it occurred to me a few months back that what I could do was to approach some of my other arty friends I have online and see if they wanted to swap art, half-finished art, and each of us would finish the other's piece for them and then send them back, and then we would have a collaborative piece that we had both worked on, and the art would actually be done. So I went through some of my half-finished pieces, and what I have here for you to show you are a couple of them that are still in this state. So this one is a start of a little collage on canvas with some of my jelly prints for the main features, but I didn't get any further than that with it. This one is another one. I'm using a whole bunch of recycled elements and painted images in this one. And it's still sitting here, and these pieces have been sitting for several months. And then I have these two pieces as well that are packaged up and ready to go, half finished, and these are on reclaimed masonite. And what I've done in this case is wrapped a jelly print around this one and started a mixed media collage on it, and never got any further. And this one is also masonite, reclaimed masonite, that I've used a whole bunch of different textural paints in the background. Got my focal image here. Beautiful vintage image of a woman, but I haven't done anything more with it yet. So here they sit. So let me show you what I did with at least one friend today, my friend Sharon Parcel, and talk about what we did. Sharon lives in Missouri. She and I met through an online class. I live in Western Canada. So this kind of project, you're not limited by boundaries. It's not like the person has to be in your neighborhood in order for this kind of project to work. So I approached Sharon and told her about this idea I had, and she was very keen to participate. So what we agreed to do was to send each other a half-finished piece of work that each of us had, and then we would finish them up and send them back to one another. So today I'm going to share with you what we did. So this is a scan of the piece that I sent to Sharon. And it's actually not as big as this. The piece is only 5 by 7. But what it was again a piece of reclaimed masonite that I'd wrapped a jelly print around. And I don't know if you can tell in this, but there's a whole bunch of stat journaling done in the background. Scribbly doodly journaling. And then I used this vintage stamped image as well, which I thought was really cool. I'd had this sitting in my stash for a very long time, and finally just put it down on this canvas, if you will. And then there it sat. So this is the one I sent to Sharon for her to finish off. So I want to share with you what she sent back to me in finished form. And I'll read you what she had to say about how she did what she did to my piece. So there's the original. And just off camera here, I have what came back. And it is very, very cool. So this is the finished piece, and I absolutely love it. She's just taken what I had started and gone way beyond anything I was expecting of it. Let me just read to you what she had to say about how she created this piece. She says, "Fortunately, I did not have to deal with a blank canvas. You provided me with an awesome start. To get myself going, I started with a pile of papers and ephemera. Next, I just started cutting and tearing pieces, laying them around on the canvas. Usually the edges are where I begin. Then I begin to fill in. Gel medium to glue it all down, If later on there's something I like better, I just glue over and keep adding layers. That's the beauty of collage. To add color, my go-to is mostly Inktense pencils or Caran d'Ache crayons, spreading the color with baby wipes. Also, I outline with colored pencils and black permanent ink, such as a Sharpie or a Pitt pen. Also, I like to add bits of color with found objects, such as bottle caps and used gift cards. Then I add pen work if needed. And what she means by adding bits of color and found objects using gift cards, what she means is using an old credit card or gift card and putting paint on the edges. And that's probably how she created these white streaky bits that you can see. And of course, any kind of bottle cap is great to use for making circular images in your mixed media collages. So isn't that a wonderful, wonderful piece that she's done? The quote, which you won't be able to read, probably says, "There is no place to seek the mind. It is like the footprints of birds in the sky." Very neat quote. Lots of collage elements, lots of texture to this piece. That's a brass piece up in the corner there. And you'll note that Sharon didn't choose to leave the original image that I had in there. It's actually under here. But that's not a big deal at all. In fact, it's a great idea. Don't feel, if you're going to try this project with a friend, that you have to keep it as they started it. This has come a long way from where it started. Excuse me. And then she even finished the back with a lovely little vintage image. And yeah, so I'm just thrilled to have this back in finished form. And what fun to have a piece that I started and my dear friend Sharon finished. So that's one half of the project. Let me show you what she sent me and now what I'm going to work on today to show you how I finished it. Again, I took a scan, fortunately, before I got too far with the little canvas that she sent me, which is about a 6-inch square canvas. This is a slightly larger photo of it. And again, we talked about her using the gift card to do lines on the canvas and using bottle caps for the interesting circle shapes. She's got several layers of acrylic paint on the canvas and it looked really good. So I didn't really add that much to it, but I have taken it a bit further than you see here in the picture. So let's move on and I'll show you how I'm going to finish this canvas. And here it is. And you can see how far it's come since I got it. I haven't changed it that much, but I did add a fair bit more yellow to really make it a little more intense. And I did some more paint on the sides, more treatments on the sides. The yellow paint and hot pink you see on the sides are just done with a sea sponge. I had a little stencil and I sprayed some dark purple paint through that little polka dot stencil. Did that around the sides, just to add a bit more color. The sides were just regular plain purple when I got it. And really didn't change the top of it that much. That's you can see how it is compared to the original. A little more stamping and just a bit more color. And I'm quite happy with this. So I'm going to leave it now and finish it off as a little collage. So what am I doing with this? Well, it's fairly small, so I had to think in scale for doing a collage on it, and I'm just thinking now about which direction I want the collage to be that I'm going to put on here. Because we have a little bit of a blank spot here, I'm thinking I'm going to put my collage elements over top of this so a lot of the bright color still shows through. So what I've done, this took quite a while. I've actually had this canvas for several months already, and I looked at it a number of times before I finally figured out what I wanted to do on it. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a little character that I made that's going to be our main feature character on this collage. And this little gal I just made with color photocopies of a face I've used in many of my pieces of art over the years. I often do that. I'll just scan images I've used before and print them off in color and then use them again as new elements. So I gave her a funky little hairdo. There's actually glitter on that. You probably can't see it on camera, but it's quite sparkly. And then just made her a little body, just a simple little body out of scrap papers and some white gel ink for doodling. So that's my little character. That's going to be the focal point for this piece, and she's just glued together. So she's going to appear over here. And then what I also have, I'm a great one for copying my pieces I use and then reusing them many times over as elements in future art. These are teeny little stars. They're kind of a coppery color. The original of these was about 3 times that size. And it was, I had handmade it, formed it with a mold and either, I can't remember whether it was polymer clay or friendly plastic, many years ago. Anyway, and then I painted it copper, and it had iridescent squiggles all through it. And you probably can't see that on these. But anyway, before I used this as a collage element in a different mixed media piece, altered art piece, that was probably done at least 10 years ago now, I scanned the little stars so that I could use them in future art. So I've just printed off that scanned image a number of times, just in a smaller scale here. And I often work, when I'm using multiples of a same image, I'm often going to work in odd numbers, so 3 is a good one for small pieces like this. And I'm just going to figure out how I want these stars to appear around the piece, because I'm also going to add a quote to this, and the quote is going to take up a fair bit of room. I use quotes in a lot of my work, and the quote I chose to use for this piece, because I'm using stars, is one that is, "I have loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night." So I've already got my quote ready to go here. I'm just going to show you how I made it as well. And I've cut them out. But let me show you how I got them to this point. What I did was, on ordinary copy paper, and this isn't the same quote, but I just printed it off on my printer, my laser printer, in the size I wanted, with the font I wanted. Then what I did is I took a couple different colors of just inexpensive craft stamp pads and smeared the paint all over the text, both colors, just to give it interest. So just smeared the color all over. Then what I did was, and this is a trick I often use, I use my deckle-edged scissors, the ones that give you that neat rough finish, and I would have cut all the words out with my deckle-edged scissors. I really like that look when I'm working in collage. I've been doing that for years. And then once I had all the pieces cut out, what I did was I took my Sharpie marker and around the rough edges of the deckle edge just ran my black marker around it, and that just makes the piece stand out a bit. And I've learned to do that over the years to make the piece stand out once you get it glued on a collage. So this text is actually pretty big, so I'm going to have to play around here to see how I'm going to make this all fit on this canvas. So I've got them each cut out. So I'm thinking I'll start up here, and I like to put stuff off kilter. I don't want it too straight. It's okay if the text overlaps the stars too. That's fine. I have to play with those a bit to get them to lie kind of straight. I'm kind of thinking this will work, because I do want to see the stars. There's such interesting pieces with those faces on them. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Now I'm going to stand back and just take a look and see how I like the layout of that. Something like that. Maybe we move the stars up like that. So you keep playing with this until you get it how you like it. assuming your little pieces would cooperate. Something like that, I think, will work. So what I'm going to do now is start gluing things down. So I'll take these off. And I don't worry that I don't get it exactly how I had it laid out. I mean, that's the fun with collage, and it's all going to come together anyways. I'm going to start with her, because she's the main focus of the piece. I'm just using a regular gel medium here, and a brush, which I'm just going to put a generous amount over top of the canvas. Get her positioned. Again, I'm trying to cover up this area a bit because I don't like that didn't quite get as much color there as I might have liked. Get her kind of square. I'm kind of squaring up her outfit, the line of her top, with the edge of the canvas so that she's not all wonky. But wonky is good. When you're doing mixed media collage, there are no rules about everything having to be square or perfect. In fact, I usually try and deliberately make my stuff not square and perfect so that I don't have to be too fussy about everything aligning just so. And now I'm going to put down the stars in a pleasing arrangement. I'll put him up here. I'll have to work around this. I'm modifying things a bit more than how I originally laid them out, but that's okay. And I'm just putting the gel medium over and over. Under on the canvas and then over top. You'll notice on her face there that some of the paint or dye I used to do yellow on the background got onto her face, but that's okay. She actually has yellow on her anyways in her little doodad here, so no harm, no foul. Alrighty. And then I'm just going to lay down some more gel medium over the whole piece here where the text is going to appear, so that no matter where I end up setting it down, it'll stick, rather than having to fuss with each piece. It can be a little fiddly working with little bits of text like this, but it's so worth it. I almost always have a quote or something inspirational in my art, so it's well worth it. Alrighty, so where will we put this guy? We need to start at the top. I have loved the stars. Oh, this is going to work out well. This is even better. Too fondly. And I think this is going to overlap her and that star. To be fearful of the night. Ah, that's going to look great. And don't worry if your little bits and pieces when you do this kind of stuff aren't exactly flat. Collage this way isn't meant to be perfect. Collage is never meant to be perfect, I don't think. It might have lumps and bumps. That's all part of the character of the piece you're creating. So don't worry about that. So I'm now just going to put another coat over top, and you can see there's a wrinkle in that piece, but that's just fine. And then once this dries, what I'm going to do, oh, you can hear the train in the background. Okay, I hadn't planned for that, but we have this little steam engine train, a historical vintage steam engine that in tourist season, which it is now here, goes by our place a couple times a day and takes tourists and locals alike on a neat ride on the last remaining section, working section, a railway in this area. It's called the Kettle Valley Rail Line. Anyway, it's a great historical thing, goes right by my house. Whoops. Okay, that'll happen. Not to worry, you can always fix that. That was me being a little rough, handling things just a tad rough, but we can fix that, and no one, except you guys watching, will be any the wiser. There we are. And I'll probably go back, you can see there's a little white spot there, I'll go back and touch that up so it's all blue in there. Happens all the time doing collage. Alrighty, so I'll stop fussing with that now, rather than making it worse. And when it's dry, I think what I'll go do is go back, and I'm probably going to do some highlighting with my tried and true Signo Uniball white gel pen. Do some highlighting of the piece, and then also probably with my Uniball black permanent marker do some outlining, and then the piece will be ready to send back to Sharon, and hopefully she'll really like it. Thank you for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and again, if you have pieces that you aren't using, have been sitting for a while, and that you'd like to see finished, I would encourage you to contact your arty friends, see if they want to do a swap with you and finish off some pieces. In fact, if any of you want to contact me about finishing off these pieces, I would love to work with you, and we can talk about that via email or through Facebook. So I've got these 4 pieces to do, and here's how you can contact me. So thanks again everyone for stopping by, and I hope I'll see you next time. Thank you.